Hello Nigerians, and welcome to another interesting episode of Your Voice, reaching you from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu Media Center. On this platform, we discuss policies, economy, education, and a whole lot, even down to sports, in order for you to be carried along and to be educated. I am always your favorite host, Mba Emmanuel. You can call me Pac-Man. And like always, I'm not here alone today on this show. I am with one of the finest Nigerians, someone you will love to meet, even on camera and in person. And I'm not talking about any other person, but someone, if I mention the name, you will say, wow, that's a wonderful person to have on this show. And I'm proud to announce the person of Mr. Valentine Ozigbo, who is a global CEO and a business leader. Mind you, he is also a politician, a banker, and a chartered accountant. His profile will not be complete if I did not say he is also a philanthropist. Hello, doctor. Welcome to my show.
Thanks so much, Emmanuel.
It's good to have you here.
God bless you. Thank you.
And I know you're always a busy man and a serious man. So I won't take much of your time pouring down the equipments on you, singing your praises, because I believe that as my guests are looking at you on this show, they have already know your pedigree. They know what you've done and what you can do. So I will just take it straight away to having this discussion.
Thank you.
On this platform, like I said, we discuss policies and the way forward. The aim is just to center on the people and to portray the image of leadership in Nigeria. Mr. Valentine Ozigbo, you're a well-known person in the corporate world. Even in the academic world, you're also known. And in politics, you're also known. And you have transitioned from the private sector to the public sector, declaring your interest to serve the public. Can you briefly share your journey so far and what inspired this transition?
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. First, let me express my gratitude for this opportunity. It's a great privilege to be on this very well-established national platform to share my own perspectives on issues. My journey has been that of grace. Somebody who, learned a few things, a few values in life from my humble beginning, being son of a headmaster and a catechist, who somebody learned, a lot about the need to inculcate certain values of hard work, of tenacity, of pursuit of excellence, of discipline. And this was at a very tender age, and being also the last of 7 children who wanted to catch up with the rest, with my elders, I had to go the extra mile. I had to apply myself more. And in this, I found my space. I, progressed far more than I could have imagined. And this is why the best way I describe myself has been a child of grace. Now, anything else I would tell you about where I moved from one place to another stemmed from this humble beginning, this parental care, this orientation. And so in the academia, my various schools, from the primary to the secondary to the university to my master's to my global CEO program, I excelled, being one, if not the top student in every endeavor. I graduated at the University of Nigeria as the best graduating student, both in the department and the faculty.
Oh, that's
I also had my MBA in the same university. I eventually qualified as a chartered accountant, became a fellow of the institute and multiple other bodies. I went to England for my second master's and the auspice of achieving a scholarship. And I had distinction in MSc Finance. I enrolled in Global CEO program, which I did in 3 universities in the world. And in the ESN New York campus, I was elected the president of the class. In the corporate world, I spent about 18 years in banking industry. Within my first 6 months in banking, I was already the best staff of the bank, Diamond Bank as at then. Moved very rapidly, became a branch manager in my 5th year, regional manager in my 7th year, rose to a level of general manager and became head of international banking, head of global transaction banking, head of offshore liaison, head of embassies and multilaterals. I became a teacher in banking, taught over 2,000 bankers in Nigeria.
Wow.
And ultimately came into Transcorp Hilton as the MD. I was actually headhunted to move from banking to hospitality and renovated this hotel, Transcorp. I invested about $100 million, carefully utilized, and today is the best business hotel in Africa. And in the process, I won twice CEO of the Year in the world, in Spain and in Greece, before I became the president of Transcorp. And then I also took time to engage in activities to pay back to the society that formed me, particularly in my hometown in Anambra State. I did a lot of things to promote the youths, the women, whether it's a business plan competition, talent hunt, sports engagement. Today, I am the biggest promoter of freestyle football. Now, while all this is going on, I had this burning desire to impact more, to touch more lives, and to answer that call. What can we do to change the narrative for Black men in this world? And the biggest way to transform, to bring, this trajectory is political leadership. And when I turned 50, I decided I was going to dedicate the rest of my life to public service. And so if it was about me personally, I would have no reason to go into politics because I had all the comfort and leisure of this world. But how do we change our story for good? If I do anything in my private capacity, I can only limit my ability. It will be highly limited. But to change the story, the narrative for good, impact a wider generation and society, public service, and I see Anambra as where we have all that's required to set a standard of what governance should be. And so that's why I went into politics in 2020. And in 2021, I contested for governorship for the first time. We were 15 in number in PDP, and nobody gave me a chance. But because of the goodwill I garnered, my fear of God, my authenticity, honesty to people, I endeared myself to them. And over time, I became a household name in very record time. And I won the ticket of PDP and actually went on to almost defeat Governor Soludo in Anambra. I use that word almost because actually back end I won the election, but it happened, and I moved on. And this is why I am now intent on reclaiming that mandate in 2021 that I lost to him. And so what I'm here to say is about Anambra people, is about service to wider people, is about impacting lives better and more positively. It's about changing the narrative of the Igbo man, and I see Anambra as the headship and the epicenter. Working with my brother governors in the Southeast, if I'm lucky to win this election, I think the Southeast will change for good.
Thank you, Doctor. There is this balance we normally say in Igbo language. Na wata waka osoro garanya. I believe you have actually washed your hands for you to have been headhunted to come and manage this big conglomerate, Transcorp. And I'm sure that your history still resounds everywhere your name is mentioned. And maybe before I go to the next question, we need to write a memoir on you. There has to be a memoir so that the younger generation have to encounter you and study you, also know how this journey progresses. Just keep that in mind, okay?
Thank you.
Let's now go back. While responding to my first question, you did say you were given the ticket in PDP and almost defeated the incumbent governor, Soludo. Now, You contested under PDP, then moved to Labour Party. And recently, you have joined the All Progressive Congress Party.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what drives your desire to become the governor of Anambra? And what are your specific visions for the Anambrarians?
You know, I'm in politics for the right reasons. It's not about me, Valentine. It's about the people. I keep that in check, that focus in check at all times. I truly, truly want to serve God and serve the people. And any platform that I desire to go into and I've worked with has been driven by these cardinal, principles of God and the people of Anambra first. Now, I went to PDP because I felt then that was the platform that could help to drive this agenda positively. And I can justify why I went to PDP then. And unfortunately, I started to see that the PDP that I joined, I wasn't the PDP I was seeing by the time, of course, I left. And in 2023, I was proud to have worked side by side with His Excellency Peter Obi to prosecute that and ignite the younger Nigerians to see responsibility on civic duties that we owe this country. And guess what? After that election, I started to see Labour become something else. The party that I thought we all labored for became something else because of the lack of internal democracy. Almost similar to what I saw in PDP. Thankfully, we have All Progressive Congress, a party that has shown more determination, more boldness in guiding the affairs of the party towards not just ability to win, capacity to win, but also to govern well, taking some bold decisions that will impact the wider generation. So that's why, as of today, I am a proud member of APC, and I see APC as that platform that will enable Anambra people to realize their dream. And that brings me to the last part of that question. What is this vision? What's this dream? I have encapsulated this in what I call Anambra Chapel. It's a realization that Anambra actually is a very unique state. We can boast of a lot of firsts. We can boast of credible history, something we cannot be proud of. We can actually trace it back to the biblical days on, liken Anambra to what the Israelites, the Jews are to the Western world, is what Anambra and Ozigbo was actually meant to be to the rest of the black nation, particularly Nigeria. And so it's no wonder that a lot of prominent people out of this country have come out of Anambra State, from Nnamdi Azikiwe to Sir Louis Ojukwu, his son eventually, Ikemba Nnewi. And then down to Okadibo, Alex Ekweme, the legendary writer Chinua Achebe, Musanli Chimamanda. And there are a lot of prominent people. And even in the business world, we can boast of being the biggest names in the business community. And I can go on, entertainment world, something, sporting world, something. So what I see, Anambra is that, a special assemblage of people that we can be said to be that state that can set the standard of what Nigeria can eventually become. And now, but we've lost that dim. Our light we're supposed to be the light of the nation, but that light is very dim. We need to get back to rescuing Anambra and restoring the glory. And what I intend to do is to lead and galvanize Anambra people into that big agenda of focusing on key sectors that propel us to become more competitive, that will help us unite ourselves and build inclusivity in our governance and make sure it becomes a win-win for everybody. It's also a vision to focus on key centers of excellence in the commercial, industrial, and technological advancement. It's also to develop and drive partnerships that can make the Anambra money work for Anambra. So all this wealth that we are boasting of, without making noise like some of us are akin to, how do we actually internalize, introspect, and deeply work towards advancing communal and community development? And these are the things we've captured in the Anambra Chapel mantra that we've devised. And I'm thankful to the Almighty God that Anambra people are impressed in this dream. And this is what we're going to do in the next couple of years.
Thank you. While you are talking, I was going over what my viewers will be going through in the minds of my viewers, okay, as we are discussing. Maybe the Nkechi there or the Chuma there or Emmanuel there may be like, it is not Mr. Valentine that was a key figure during the Labour Party campaign and that worked for P2B and then in Anambra, and now he has gone to APC. How do you respond to the rumor that you have been planted in APC by Peter Obi or by the obedience movement? And what's your relationship still with this camp? And then what makes you think that APC is different from this political party?
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. You see, if you know who Valentine is truly, then this question won't be necessary.
No, it's not my.
But because
it's not my question.
Because I know some are deliberately planting that rumor to discredit who I am.
Sure.
Of course, I owe it to Nigerians to respond. Sure. I'm not a transactional politician.
Sure.
I'm a purposeful politician. And so I'm not driven by the mercantilist approach to politics. And so you can't buy me. You have to have somebody who is transactional for that person to become a mole or a placeholder, or because in summary, the only placeholder or mole I can be for is God Almighty. He is the only one that can send me to a journey, and then I can go there and do his bidding. I am Valentine Ozigbo. I'm a proud member today of APC, and I took this decision based on my perception of what would be a win-win for Anambra people. And I am at peace with that decision. And I've taken that decision not out of disrespect for anybody or the institutions I have represented in the past. And let me also again be clear. I have my respect for Mr. P2B. I have my respect for Labour Party, but I don't think it's a party that can take us where we're going to as Anambra people. I don't think it's a party that can give us the type of governance platform that we desire. There are many reasons why it has to be APC. And first is that I see APC as a platform that is national, that is plugging Anambra to the center, comes with huge advantages. There are a lot of things that are already happening that I would like to get Anambra to be at the table and not by the side.
So,
if you look at the big, bold agenda of Mr. President today, you will understand that plugging to the center is the best thing that can happen. And I'm glad that a few things are already happening that we can make reference to, like the Southeast Development Commission that has eluded us for a long time, but suddenly we're here commissioning that. And with that, we can actually bring a lot of transformation in the entire Southeast. So Anambra ought to be at the epicenter. And connecting Anambra to the grid means more dividends of democracy to Anambra people. And I also see APC as a platform that can enable one protect the mandate. I won an election in the past, and I couldn't protect it. In part, it's because when you are dealing with a party that is lacking in internal democracy, where you start to gain the sabotage from inside. You start to deal with issues. The day I won
internal cracks.
The day I won primary in PDP, that same day there was a alternative primary by another faction, and we fought a battle from June up to October for an election taking place in November. So I suffered all those headwinds, and if truly we want to prioritize getting this dividend of democracy for Anambra people, they look beyond personal issue. So my moving into APC is not about Valentine again, it's about Anambra people. And over time, and I'm glad a lot of people are beginning to see the reason, by the time we win this ticket, by the grace of God, by the time we win the election proper, by the time we begin to govern well, you will see that the whole narrative of APC being anti-Igbo, anti-Anambra will begin to shift. So I am here to add value to APC and see how we can shift Anambra from being in the precipice to the center of the universe.
When you mentioned you need to bring it home for the people to understand that APC is not anti-Igbo, not anti-Southeast. Just like in the minds of some people, I call them myopic people, because you have to see politics from a broader view. If you narrow politics, you can never enjoy the dividends of democracy. Now, I want us to look at, as a respected leader across all sectors in the business world, academics, and politics, how do you ensure that APC clinches that seat, if by peradventure you come up victorious in the primaries?
You know, the only way to predict the future is to look at the past and the current.
Yes, sir.
Every single poll you throw out there will project me as the most acceptable person in Anambra politics today, above the current governor. In fact, there's a poll that put me at 90% and current governor at less than 10%. Such is a wide margin. And it's not because of my work alone, it's also because of the unpopularity of the current governor. And so what you find is that, again, let me remind you, remind our viewers, in 2021, my first adventure into politics, with all the headwind about the court litigation that I faced, with the fact that there was no incumbent governor to back me up, and then there was no federal government to support my candidacy, and the fact that even within my own team, I had leadership that was fragmented, and still, I emerged second, close to winning the election. Imagine if I had drawn under a party platform that could boast of the infrastructure of APC and federal government. Clearly, the results would have been totally different. So what I'm here to say is that I am very, very confident that given my popularity, my competence, my character, my goodwill, my visibility over this period of time, between that 2021 and now, has even enhanced. Winning on ground is a sure banker. In fact, I dare say that if Governor Soludo can read the memo, he shouldn't bother contesting for second term.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sure Governor Soludo is listening to this, and I hope and pray he throws in the towel for the right man to be at that position. While talking about integrity and tenacity, I think I know one man that has this, especially when it comes to tenacity. There's one man I know who doesn't give up. If he says he wants this, and he works for this. And that person is the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Yes.
What is your honest view of the President's policies and vision for Nigeria? And will you align your leadership to his own vision if, when given the ticket and elected as the governor of Anambra State?
certainly, is a no-brainer. Let me say this. I have an idea how terrible the economy was when he ascended into the office. The knowledge is not because I am as somebody who is vast in the economic issues in this country. Sure. It's also because I have been in Abuja and worked in this Transcorp in you can call it the epicenter of everything. So you have the opportunity to interact and meet.
A lot of persons.
Yeah. And I know the role I played when President Buhari came into power to try to get him to, acclimatize and solidify. At the beginning of that administration, I hosted the people who were in his transition committee, and I made presentations. And ultimately, Nigeria took a nosedive, and we were going through hemorrhaging badly as a country. And some of it were not known by the ordinary people. And so when President Bola Tinubu took over, clearly, I knew he had an uphill task ahead of him. And so what was required was a lot of bold decisions. So I'm glad he's such a man who can look at things, no matter whose ox is God. Once he's convinced this is the right thing to do, he goes ahead to do it. And one of those who criticized some of the policies initially, not because those policies were not right, but the phasing of the implementation. In my opinion, then there are things I feel could have been, gradually done. But I don't see it from the bigger picture. I'm seeing from my own little picture. But I have now gone ahead to see many other things he's done that I'm impressed by. That has actually changed my worldview of who he is.
I've always seen you emphasizing unity and inclusion in your campaign slogan. Now, how do you intend to bring together the different factions and interests in APC, in Anambra? You said in the Anambra, Diche, even in their approaches and everything, okay? So how do you want to bring in these different factions and interests, especially after the primaries?
God has blessed me with gift of emotional intelligence.
Fine.
What that means is that first I have respect and fear for God. I also do have a good understanding of who I am. I know that I am strong in some areas and also weak in some areas. And therefore, the only way I can be full and whole is that I'm well complemented by diverse opinion and perspectives. And I also have respect for a fellow human being, that no matter how little or how highly, everybody has a value to add. From that perspective, my worldview is always about inclusivity, about unity, about peace, about conflict resolution. So even before the primary is over, I'm engaging fellow aspirants already. I'm not waiting until primary is done.
Oh, that's
I just finished a meeting with DG of another campaign, and I'm saying let's begin to think together and plan together in case anything happens in the positive. So once the ticket is secured by me, by the grace of God, I will spend no effort to ensure that we'll get everybody on the table. If it means inclusivity, making sure it becomes a unitary government, unitary campaign, we are going to adopt that. We're going to do that so that everybody can see a stake in what we're doing.
The proactive steps you've taken so far, mentioning you've been in discussion with a DG of another campaign group.
And some aspirants.
Some aspirants. And I'm sure that by tomorrow, this video is going to live beyond us. And my viewers, we always want to Pac-Man, you brought this man and this is what he said. Now I'm throwing it back to you so that you can also say to them on this show. One criticism given to politicians is the ability, let me just say, the tendency to forget the people immediately after election. How will you ensure that the voices of ordinary in the Anambra, okay, continue to shape your policies and your governance in Anambra State?
Two things. One is who you are is starting point. I said this before here, that I am not a transactional politician.
Okay.
I am a purposeful politician. It means I am in politics for the right reasons. It means I mean well. I'm here to serve. It's about service. It's not about power. Let me dominate. Let me steal money. This is about honestly making lasting positive change in the life of people. You can't do that without feedback mechanism. You can't do that without engaging the people that you're serving. You can't give that without reporting to them, showing full transparency in what you do. So we're going to have a robust feedback mechanism. I'm going to engage people, and I believe what I call management by walking around. So physically being present can be a game changer. When I used to work here in Transcomputer as CEO, there's no day I won't go to all the food and beverage outlets to engage customers and find out how they feel. Or if there's anything that's happening, I don't want to wait until it's reported to my office. No, I see it in situ at the game bar. And that helps you to deal with issues. And your presence alone, get about to reshape.
Exactly.
So what I want to say to you is that I'll be physically engaging our people, whether the students in school, those in the hospitals, those in the markets, the civil servants, the judiciary, the market women. The idea here is that I want them to feel the pulse of government, to know that this is a government that is here to represent their interests, no matter how diverse those interests may be.
I learned that there are about 7 contestants to these seats in Anambra. As we are running up our discussion, what are your words to all the contestants, including Dr. Valentine Ozigbo?
So what I should say to myself?
Exactly.
I'll start by what I would say to myself. Valentine, this is not actually a do or die affair. This is me presenting myself to the people of Anambra, who have shown me so much love. I am here to return that love back. Yes. Now, for my colleagues, and I wanted to also approach this from that sportsmanly approach. How do we work together, team up together? They have suffered. APC has really gone through a lot of negativity in Anambra State. They have really suffered. And when you engage with some of the older members of the party, you almost cry for them. You weep for them. And here is an opportunity to change that trajectory. Part of the reason has been lack of unity, divisiveness, people just pursuing some selfish agenda. And here I'm trying to say, let's look at common good. Let's understand it's only when we win that there'll be a lot on the table to make sure that people who have followed us can get the benefit of the democracy dividend. And so let's think about coming together and know that we have a common opponent, the incumbent administration in ABGA, that we need to chase away. Having failed on the Anambra. The
current Minister of Works, David Umahi, actually kind of like throwing a support to the incumbent Governor Soludo. I also want to get your position on that.
To be honest, to be fair to Minister Umahi, I think he was coming from that whole history of dysfunctionality we faced in APC in Anambra. So probably he still thinks APC remains like that. And he hasn't got the recent memo. And that memo is that has changed. With the kind of value we're now bringing into the party, not just me, a few other people who have joined the party, that trajectory has changed. APC has become a rallying point today in Anambra State. And APC will actually win this election, provided they present a credible candidate, a quality candidate, acceptable candidate, not just to APC members, but the institutions that are important in Anambra, and the entire Anambra people, the real voters. And the only way you can also check who can that be by looking in our past. And that candidate is me. So he probably is not fully abreast of this, and that's why he jumped into that conclusion. So I will forgive him for that misspeak. And I'm certain that with my emergence as candidate, even him, Umahi, will lead my campaign in Ebonyi and other parts of Nigeria. I can bet you that.
Fantastic.
To ensure that victory ultimately is ensured.
Use your dialect and say one or two things to the Anambra.
Before I say that, let me quickly add my voice to the last point you were making about the need for Southeast cohesion.
Okay.
I'm glad that we have a Governor Hope in Imo of APC extraction. I'm glad we have Governor Francis Nwifuru in Ebonyi. And now we're about to have me in Anambra. Let me also urge Governor Oti and Governor Mba in Abia and Enugu to make sure they get into APC before I win the election. Otherwise, I'll be a senior governor in APC. So let me put that out there. So that
even though they have been on that seat before you. Okay.
So now, can was Andy Bayo Kubiko Munem, Ihan on Nia Macadema Munono, Aniku, Kedihaige Meka Anambra Blebe Jamatu. It all before, on Kakita and Anaziazo. Odimpa, now. Mbọ anyị na-agba kịta agbalịrị n'isi ọ bụrụ nke ihe ofu onye, all hands must be on deck. Onye ọbụla agba mbọ nke ya, nnukwu mmadụ kpata nnukwu nkụ, obere mmadụ kpata obere nkụ. When we all do it this way, a ga-enweta ihe anyị na-achọ. Ihe anyị na-achọ bụ ka Anambra bụrụ ebe eji ama to be the light of the nation. Just like equal now, Matthew 5:16, let your light so shine before men, so people see your good deeds and glorify your Father who is in heaven. That light, the can nke nemuna buke asho nke ga chawapo ofuma. Oh ya buka Anambra chawapo. Let Anambra blossom. Ka odele onye ruma, odele onye azuma, odele nwoke ma, odele nwaanyị ma, odele ndị nọ na urban, ndị nọ na rural. Esetu ameya, oh ya bu bai achake, oboze ebe jamatu, obolo ebe bu ezizi, state izizi aga enwe na Nigeria. Biko onye na tinye uchu, tinye akonuche, tinye ekpele, tinye ni no nwelo, tinye ma resources, ego niile, yo ji bolo mmadu ka edize na Anambra State. Etu odekita ajoka, time has come for a new trajectory. And I preach this message of unity and oneness and inclusivity because ultimately we want to make Nigeria proud. We want to make Anambra people proud.
Thank you so much for coming to this show.
God bless you.
And I look forward to having another episode with you.
I can't wait.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you so much. And here we have it today on this wonderful episode. From the beginning, I told you it's going to be an interaction you're going to like. I told you it's going to be exciting. And you can bet it was exciting. Having Dr. Valentine Ozigbo has actually exposed a lot of things. Don't forget that this show is reaching you from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu Media Center. And I remain your favorite host, Mba Emmanuel Parkman. Please follow us next time on this show, and do not forget to follow us on all our social media platforms. This is me signing out and waiting to have you again on this show. Thank you.